This is WWE superstar Drew McIntyre, and you're listening to the WWE Podcast.
The champ is
the one that everybody wants, me.
Becky Lynch is going to WrestleMania. Claymore!
Austin 316 says I just whipped your ass.
This is my iron. You're going to acknowledge me.
What's going on, guys? It is time for the Saturday night main event review. Yeah, a little bit late here, but boy, there's a lot to talk about. No doubt. And I have some thoughts that may surprise you when it comes to Triple H and the reaction. Although I'm mixed on it, I have come to a conclusion when it comes to Triple H's decision. And yes, John Cena's as well. We both know that it was John and Triple H who made the call. One didn't make it without the other. You can't. John obviously agreed to it, but it was written off by Triple H and signed off on by Triple H. So if you love the decision or hate it, you have to blame or give credit to both. You can't absolve one or the other. It's an all or nothing situation. Even if it was up to John Cena, Triple H still had to sign off on it. I mean, that's still up to Triple H, even if it was up to John. So Triple H is still involved by default, whether you like it or not. And boy, was there a lot of backlash last night for the decision regarding John Cena to lose that match to Gunther. Now, I put a video out actually on TikTok. If you follow me on search WWE Podcast. I'm pretty much the only one that's there. Well, at least the name of it. So the reaction, as we all saw and heard, was anger, sadness, a lot of the unpleasant emotions we experience as human beings. And the in-person crowd who paid a lot of money to be there, and Triple H even boasted on social media afterwards. I saw it on Facebook, could have been other places as well, that it was the highest grossing ever for Saturday Night Main Event, or the highest grossing ever in the arena at DC. I don't understand why WWE does this. Yes, it's an achievement because what they did was get the most money out of everyone that they possibly could. That's what they're saying. I don't mind them boasting attendance numbers and things, but that's the kind of stuff you say at shareholder, stockholder meetings. You know, you talk about that, but it's slap in the face to fans. Yes, they voluntarily agreed to be there and voluntarily gave up their money to be there. But it just shows you how much they're focused on money and the perception that they're making hand over fist money, right? I hate when they do that. I don't mind, again, attendance records and numbers and sellouts, and that's fine, totally fine. But when you actually talk about money, it gets icky. No one seems to care about that point because everyone else was buried in the anger for Triple H, who, whether he decided to or signed off on, either way, it's his decision ultimately to give the L to John Cena. And the crowd lost their minds. They chanting obscenities at Triple H, you effed up. They even chanted, "We want Vince." I heard that at the press conference, the post show. We're really angry at Triple H, F you, that kind of stuff. And I understand the outrage from this perspective that you go to this event, you spend as much money as you did. WWE then, turns around and talks about how much money they just made from everyone at that event and is very proud of how much money they just made. And then you get to see John Cena lose a match that you wanted him to win because you want that feel-good moment. You want to be rewarded for spending your time and a lot of hard-earned money to be there. Many people flew in. This was essentially a PLE because of John Cena's retirement, circling and really centering around everything here. We'll talk about the other matches. Don't worry, I'm not ignoring every other match that happened. There was only a few. This was very much about John Cena, as it should be. And again, I don't want to ignore the other matches. But to not start here would be foolish with John Cena. I'm not going to wait till the end of the show and make everybody wait. And so, like I said, that's why I'm starting about with John Cena. Now, The match itself, I thought, was really good. It was as good as you could expect a nearly 50-year-old wrestler to perform against Gunther, who you knew was going to bring it. Now, there was a botch or two, particularly when there was a second shoulder tackle and Gunther didn't stand up to do the typical swinging for John Cena, where he then gets into this 5-knuckle shuffle rhythm. But other than that, I mean, it was a flawless match, I think, psychologically. The pacing I loved. I will say that before we talk about all this negativity. The pacing was really good. I know that in some people's minds, compared to today's wrestling, that it was in slow motion, and compared to today's style that it has evolved into, yeah, it was kind of slow motion, but I loved that. It allowed you to understand what's going on and to take things in, and the commentators to breathe and tell a story, and for the crowd to get into it. And they were hot as they could have been for John Cena. That may have been the most unanimous support for John Cena his entire career. No Cena sucks chance. All love for John. Gunther was the ultimate heel. And nobody was on Gunther's side. Because think about it too. You're also, if you're going to pay that much money to be there, you are paying to see John Cena. You're not going to boo the guy you paid all the money to see. So the pacing, though, was really good. Yes, it was kind of long in some people's eyes. I don't think it was. I think it was perfect amount of time. And the kickouts of finishes, again, was as egregious, but even more than advertised when it comes to kickouts of power bombs and 46 FUs and avalanche AAs being delivered and kicked out of, and all the rest of it. It was just, it's overkill. Even the guys that are seasoned, a guy that's 25 years in the business still is relying on today's methods of how apparently it's defined as an awesome match of kick out of seriously, it was probably 6 kickouts of the FU. And I'm going to call it the FU because why not? I don't like kickouts of finishes as a rule unless there's a reason for it. But sure, in today's definition of what a good match is, it added drama and false finishes and all the rest of it. Fine. So Gunther then applies his chokehold, hits, he hit a bunch of power bombs as well, but hits his chokehold, doesn't let go, gets out of it, doesn't let go, gets out of it, doesn't let go, gets an FU, then comes back into it. John Cena escapes, gets back into it, like he was aggressive. And John Cena hung on as long as he could, gave us a smile, knowing, I think he knew how the fans were going to react here. And then he just kind of humbly taps out, and that's John Cena's career. And that's it. It's over. Now, before I get to the aftermath, and there's a lot to talk about there, it was cool to see all the legends at ringside, or future legends at ringside. Kevin Owens, crowd really popped for. It was great to see him. Sami Zayn was there, I think, with his son. I'm sure I'm going to miss somebody. Of course, the executives were there. Tony Khan, oh my God, not Tony Khan. I forget his name. I can't remember. The executives were there. We had Mark Henry there. We had Trish Stratus. Very cool to see Kurt Angle. It's really cool to see him there, given how that's who started with him in his career, as we all know, in 2002 on SmackDown with the Ruthless Aggression line. So really cool kind of come full circle moment for John Cena and Kurt Angle. So really, really nice there. Vince was even put in a video package. Unbelievably, that may have been the first time Vince McMahon's face has been on WWE television since his departure years ago. So that was quite interesting with Vince in a video package. He didn't show up live. Some people thought he would. He didn't. I don't know if he was invited, not invited. I'm guessing he wasn't. But that would have been cool if Vince was there. And to be honest, he should have been. Vince was an integral part of John Cena's success. And no Edge. No Edge, which was very disappointing in my mind. I really thought they would somehow find a way to sneak him in. They didn't. So Edge, Adam Copeland, probably his greatest rival in my mind, was not able to make an appearance. Damn those contracts. Damn them all to hell. And there's no going back. I mean, that's it. John Cena is truly done. There is no going back. You cannot remake that moment. It's over. The next time we see John Cena on WWE television is going to be for a Hall of Fame induction speech, or of course, at WrestleMania, whenever that is. Maybe it's next year or the year after, in getting his entrance for making the Hall of Fame and coming out on stage during WrestleMania, as they do every year. That's it. That is the next time I think we'll see John Cena on WWE television. Doesn't mean we won't, again, see him in an interview, podcast, much like what Mark Calloway did with The Undertaker. That's probably where we're going to go with John Cena. He's still going to be a part of the company. I've made that clear as well. And not that I broke the news, but he's going to be with the company at least for the next 5 years as an ambassador. And so you'll see John Cena's face. He's going to be Mr. Suit and Tie, Mr. Mr. Politician, much like Cody Rhodes is. The way he speaks, he's very calculated, very methodical with his words. I don't like that because it makes you feel like you're not a human being speaking like a normal human being does, but that's beside the point. So if you miss John Cena and you think he's dead, I mean, people were essentially acting like it was his funeral yesterday. He will be in your eyeballs in short order. I mean, there's cameras everywhere. Everyone's got cell phones. Everyone seemingly has a podcast. WWE is probably doing documentary filming as we speak on John and his aftermath thoughts, and maybe followed him to the hotel room and getting his integral kind of private thoughts. I mean, they're doing a ton. Why wouldn't they? So don't worry, guys. John Cena is not dead, but his wrestling career in ring is. And it was one hell of a career. One that cannot be duplicated. One of the greatest of all time. Notice I said one of, not the. I'm not going to go into that. You know how I feel, but John Cena is no doubt, objectively, no argument, one of the greatest of all time. I, throughout his career, was not a big proponent of his babyface character, much like Cody. Going from the Attitude Era of Austin 316 and middle fingers and beer and The Rock and everything else to, he comes out wearing rainbow colors and he's pandering to the crowd and he becomes the face of the PG era. I did not like that transition, but I can't not respect what he's accomplished from in-ring, on mic. He's one of the greatest of all time, if not arguably the greatest of all time on the microphone when it comes to promos. Just a rare talent that we won't see again, likely in our lifetimes. So, I mean, what more can I say? I mean, John Cena has been getting praise and flowers at his feet for the last year. So that's some of the good stuff, of course, with his match. And the way it ended, of course, is where a lot of people have issue and start taking big issue with it. And why wouldn't he win? This makes no sense. It's stupid. And his smile at the end gave it all away, knowing what's coming. He was very, I think, clever in that, kind of the half smile. Now, I get why people are mad. I explain why. Very, very kind of simple to understand why people are angry. And it's not just the people in the arena. People online are also saying the Triple H sucks. This makes no sense. And Triple H getting chanted at, and then Triple H trying to own it like he does, which is annoying. I mean, I think he's, I also, here's one thing too. I am not one to really get on Triple H on a regular basis. I will say that. I mean, I get annoyed when he comes out on his kind of monthly PLE, needing to be on camera, needing to come out and welcoming us to the show. Like, I get on him about that. But the more I think about it, and this came from, actually, of all places, Vince Russo, who I really don't agree with a lot of the time, but he pointed out that, I mean, Triple H, he's voicing over everything. He's bringing Stephanie McMahon back, which I didn't have a big problem with, but he's constantly on camera, being shown arriving at the arena. Again, as I said, voiceovers all over the place in wrestling, in WrestleMania promos, even though he's not an active competitor and hasn't been for a long, long time. Introducing us to every PLE. Like, he's everywhere all the time. And I don't need that. You are the head of creative. You should be kind of this mysterious figure backstage, this hooded figure that is this, kind of this thought leader, this kind of mastermind, master manipulator. You guys don't know what's coming. Well, Triple H got a dose of his medicine last night with the crowd chanting at him as I opened the show with. And he tried to laugh it off, and you saw the big laugh he gave Cena, and I'm sure they exchanged words about the reaction, because Triple H was having to face his decision immediately upon making it. He was one of the first out, of course, because, of course, he has to be one of the first people out at the end of the show to celebrate with John Cena and give him his flowers. And the crowd jumped all over him. And you know what? I mean, I get why. As I said, I know why they did. And you expose yourself that way instantly. The crowd now can direct their anger right at you in the moment. You're going to get hammered. And they did. And Triple H then at the press conference said like, oh, I'm mildly disappointed you guys aren't louder. You know, he got owned, and then he's trying to own being owned. That's what Triple H does. I'm sure behind closed doors, can you imagine what he's saying about fans? Oh, these people are so stupid. They claim to love pro wrestling. I am sure behind closed doors, Triple H is absolutely demolishing fans and their intelligence and everything else. I know you have to know that, but that's beside the point, because all of that said, this was the right decision, guys. Even the tap out. And I struggled with that as well. I predicted that Gunther would win, but I thought it would be pass out. Because if John Cena passed out, Gunther still gets the victory, but John Cena is able to then end his entire career saying he never tapped out once, kind of, preserving that John Cena immortality of never giving up, right? That whole mantra he lived by. And then at the very end he does. Right? So I struggle with that at first. I'm like, yeah, I agree with the who won and why, but I don't agree with how. And then I very quickly kind of transitioned to, well, actually, if you're going to have Gunther win, you might as well have him win in the most definitive way possible, doing the one thing no one else has done. Like you can't half-ass it. You can't go halfway. So as much as I don't want to defend Triple H, because I find him very obnoxious at times and very self-serving, and we see him way too much for I think very selfish reasons, I agree with this decision. I don't care if it was John who made the decision. As I said, they're one unit because both men have to agree. And Triple H made the right call. Why? If you've been watching wrestling for any length of time, I'd say maybe a year, 2 years or more, you would understand that when a guy is going out and they're not coming back, you do the honors for the guy who's going to be staying there, because there's nothing for you to gain by winning. There's only something for the guy that's going to be there to lose. If you win and the guy there is staying there and he loses, well, then he just lost to a guy that he can't get revenge on. There's nothing to do. He just has to sit with that loss the rest of his career. It's a time-honored tradition. And yes, people are pointing to, well, Kurt Angle lost on his retirement match and Ric Flair lost in his retirement match. Even Austin lost in his retirement match at WrestleMania 19. I understand he came back in at WrestleMania 38. I get all that. But for 20 years, he lost to The Rock, doing the honors to The Rock. Right? There are many examples of guys Shawn Michaels, that have lost, legends that have lost in their retirement match on their way out. And this is the one that people are up in arms about. Now, again, they didn't, upon the exit of those men, there's a couple different things between Flair and Shawn Michaels and even Austin. First of all, you didn't even know that was Austin's last match. Kurt Angle, you knew that was his last match, but we all wanted it against John Cena, and ironically, John Cena then retired and couldn't have Edge. I mean, we don't have these fantasy matchups that always happen. But he lost to Baron Corbin, which was just ridiculous. We all know that. But Kurt Angle looked like a shell of a man. I mean, he looked not just a step slower, like 5 steps slower than what he used to be when he faced Baron Corbin at WrestleMania several years back. But the difference is they didn't announce ahead of time also that they were going to be retiring in a year or 15 months later when he originally did announce it. So we had all this time to think about it and who he could beat and who the final opponent could be, and we're going to get maybe talk ourselves into he's going to have a fun out the door victory. But again, none of these men did that. And yet nobody here is flipping out. And also you have to remember too, the Ric Flair one and the Shawn Michaels one. Ric Flair was retired by Shawn Michaels. Shawn Michaels was retired by The Undertaker. Right? Those men, there's a couple differences. Number one, they didn't announce it ahead of time and to get all this build up and thought and all that. They also lost to another fellow legend. There was no shame in that. Undertaker losing to Shawn Michaels losing to The Undertaker. I mean, who's going to complain about that? You have Ric Flair losing to Shawn Michaels, one of the greatest in-ring wrestlers of all time. You have, Baron Corbin beating Kurt Angle. That was just an abomination. But again, Kurt Angle, we all knew he took a how many year absence from WWE to come back. He had, finally gets a match and he gets, Baron Corbin, and it was just a sham of a match. It really was. But they also didn't have access to the head of creative directly after those matches. Like Vince didn't come out at the end of this and, face the music of whatever decision he just made. The fans didn't have access to Vince right away. So it's not quite the same. It's not apples to apples here. And it just also makes sense. It's respect for the business. It's the right thing to do. What did you get to? I mean, if you saw John Cena hit 1 billion AAs. He got a 15-minute entrance. He stayed well after the cameras even went off. You got to see all the legends that were in the arena surround him. Cody Rhodes was in tears. He puts his shoes in the ring and his bands in the ring and leaves. He was walking around in socks. Around the arena for I saw some video of him 10 minutes later. He's still walking around in socks and no shoes. So John Cena, you got enough of John Cena. How could you not have? It was just the fact that he lost to Gunther. You didn't get him beating Gunther. Now, what does this do? Why is this the right decision? Beyond the fact that it's a respect thing. And beyond that, even if you took that away, which is hard to do, but if we did and respect wasn't a thing, Gunther's still going to be here for many years. He's going to be here maybe the next 5 to 10. And what better way to build on this than having him claim he beat John Cena in his retirement match, and he made John Cena do the one thing he never did in his entire career, and that's make John Cena tap out and quit. That's a hell of a thing to claim on your resume in future promos. It's something you won't forget. It's the right thing. And think about the heat on Gunther right now. Yes, it's on Triple H in a real sense if you actually are angry about this. It is on Triple H. Gunther's the one that just executed the plan that was in place. But Gunther now is going to have nuclear heat. And that's great. That's what you want. How can you not want that? There's no better way for John, who's been claiming about giving back to the business and it's about the future, than to do exactly that in his own match. Giving back, using this loss and the first tap out ever as more of a springboard. I know Gunther's already a big star, but he's not quite a household name. Let's be honest. Let's kind of taper back. I've heard some arguments. Now, Gunther's already a big star. He's a made man. Is he though? Is he the guy that lost to Jey Uso at WrestleMania in this via the same move? Is he really a big star? Where at least where he could be? See, the thing is, He can always be bigger. I'm not putting a cap on Gunther. There's more we haven't seen. And he's not a household name. If you talk to any non-wrestling fan and go, hey, do you know who Gunther is in WWE? Most of them who aren't wrestling fans will go, huh? Who? I don't know. I don't think I've heard of him. Maybe 1 out of 10 people would. Maybe. But you know John Cena's name. Everybody, oh yeah, I know John Cena. I've seen his face. I've seen his movies. I've seen some of his in-ring stuff, even if they don't watch wrestling. Everybody knows John Cena, right? So my point is, Gunther obviously would want to get to the level of stardom of John Cena. I mean, who wouldn't? That should be your goal. Not to be John Cena or duplicate him, but get to that star power level. Get to that notoriety. And this is a great way to do that for Gunther. If he lost, he probably wouldn't have been too damaged by it. It's John Cena, for God's sakes. Who cares? It's his retirement match. But it would have flatlined Gunther a little bit. I think it just kind of made him a little stale. Like, oh, here comes Gunther. Yeah, he lost last night to Cena. No shame in that, but it doesn't look like they're going to, do too much with him, kind of keep him where he's at. No. Like, this is something that they should use, and they better use. This can't be an Austin Theory fumble. I mean, there's guys that have beaten John Cena in the past that they've tried to use that victory over Cena to springboard them, and sometimes it sinks them. So, this with Gunther, I would hope that they have massive plans here. It's a big deal to have a guy that spent his whole career talking about never giving up to give up. And he did. He gave up in his final match. And I know to a lot of people that it hurts John Cena in their minds. If you think this actually hurts John Cena's career, you don't know wrestling. In any way, if you think this hurts John Cena's career, you really don't know wrestling. Or you don't understand what pro wrestling is. And I want to hear also from the people that say, well, and I even heard some of the top guys that, it wasn't Pro Wrestling Net or anything. It was, I forget where it was. Some of the top guys claiming, well, when they said that pro wrestling killed sports entertainment tonight, and they're like, oh, it's a term for the same thing. No, it's not. No, it's not. Sports entertainment is a phrase that was coined by Vince McMahon 10, 20 years ago. That was essentially a dodge to what pro wrestling is. Sports entertainment doesn't mean anything. When you think about the phrase sports entertainment, yeah, sports are entertainment, but pro wrestling is what is the entertainment. But pro wrestling was an outdated phrase that came with a lot of baggage, so to speak, that felt antiquated. So they wanted to move on to a more, I guess, modern term, and to move the public's perception of them away from they're a wrestling company to wait, oh, they're sports entertainment. Oh, that sounds more fun. That sounds like it's a little bit newer and fresher. But pro wrestling is what the entertainment is. So sports entertainment is a meaningless phrase because sports by definition are entertaining. Pro wrestling is what the entertainment is. It's how you entertain the people. So anyway, I know some people it's splitting hairs, but it's not the same thing. No, it's not. Sports entertainment is an empty phrase that describes nothing. Sports entertainment could be you really could say the NFL is sports entertainment. You could say MLB, any sport at all is sports entertainment because sports entertainment is entertainment via sports. That's what it is. So any sport at all could be labeled that. It's such an empty, meaningless catch-all phrase that simply avoids what they're actually doing, which is professional wrestling. So, all right. To wrap this up, because I've spent 30 minutes now covering John Cena, and deservingly so. It's not, at least I didn't spend 30 minutes talking about a dead dog, like I did a couple weeks ago. to some of you, that's an improvement. Now, I'm putting a bow on the John Cena deal here because I want to talk quickly about the rest of the other matches, and then we'll wrap up the show. John Cena, as I said, had a hell of a career. That is a stupid statement to make because duh. But everybody that is angry about the John Cena victory, I think what you need to do is take a macro look at this. Step out of your emotions. Step back. And understand that this was the correct decision, not just because it's my own, although in and of itself would make it the right opinion. That's sarcasm. But because it's how you move the sport forward. You always pay it forward, especially if you're leaving. It would be foolhardy to take a victory with you that you didn't need, that would do nothing for your career. It would have made the people in attendance happy. The 19,000 people in attendance wouldn't have had their tummies hurt. But wrestling-wise, storyline-wise, if you want to continue to build new stars, which is how the company survives, you have to have John Cena lose there. It's the only decision. Now, you could argue if it was Edge or somebody else, then it would, to me, it really wouldn't have mattered. If it was a kind of a legacy, no pun intended, if it was a legacy kind of matchup or that kind of thing, where the whoever he was facing wasn't a young and upcoming guy and he wasn't, on the rise. He was a former foe that's also older, like an Edge. Then to me, I wouldn't have cared who won that. I mean, John Cena could have beaten Edge there. I would have been totally fine. But since it's a guy that the company is still building around, that they have a lot of stock in, it is just a completely stupid decision to have John Cena win there. So, I think I made my point. I hope anyway. So, obviously there were other matches here. Because a lot of people forgot that because everything is about Triple H and the anger for Triple H and the John Cena loss. But let's talk about the rest of the matches because there were some other ones, including Cody versus Obafemi. Now, that match I really enjoyed. I mean, it was quick, probably too quick. I would have liked to have seen it go a little bit longer. It was only 9 minutes and 5 seconds. The finish was Cody Rhodes beating Obafemi via DQ because, why is it again? Oh yeah, Drew McIntyre caused the DQ. As expected, he interferes. Doesn't cost Cody the match, actually gives him a victory, but only in kind of semantics. He ends up beating down Cody Rhodes, gets in Obafemi's face. Obafemi and Drew McIntyre have a very interesting confrontation that I'm sure moving down the line we will see. Of course, Obafemi and Drew McIntyre eventually face off, and Obafemi, boy, he's got a hell of a future ahead of him. I am very much looking forward to whenever that happens. But after the match, Oba did confront McIntyre, shoved him to the mat. Cody hit McIntyre with a Cody cutter, and Obafemi followed up with a choke slam on McIntyre, who rolled out of the ring. And then Cody grabbed both belts and tossed the NXT belt to Oba. And there was some boos. And yeah, that was a non-finish. But again, 9-minute match. They could have gone much longer. That, to me, was the most criminal thing about this. But they had good chemistry. Obafemi it was about getting eyeballs on Obafemi. It wasn't really about one man winning or losing. And to be honest, they probably, looking back, it might have been the best decision because it gets heat on Drew. Obafemi doesn't take a loss. Yeah, okay, fine. On paper he does, but he doesn't really. Cody Rhodes doesn't take a loss. He's moving on to his next opponent, which is clearly going to be Drew McIntyre, maybe as a finale here. It just showed you, it was more of just a vehicle to showcase Obafemi, get him in front of the mainstream audience who most probably have not seen, and see what he can do and work with a guy like Cody. He's, of course, going to make him look really good. So I had no issue really with this. I understand it was a non-finish, but sometimes non-finishes are the right thing to do. This one, you can make a case for. I actually thought Obafemi was going to win because of Drew, but this is still essentially the same outcome. All right. We have Bayley then take on Sol Ruca. Lyra Valkyria was at ringside. Zarya was at ringside with Sol Ruca. The match also went just about the same, 9.5 minutes, with Sol Ruca beating Bayley. So I got the W here. Bayley rolled up Ruca for near fall, and Ruca reversed it and got the 3 count. After the match, Zarya entered the ring and celebrated, and Valkyria comforted Bayley and walked over to her, shook hands, and then Bayley had all 4 women hold up their arms together as they all saluted in tribute to John Cena. So, again, I have no issue with this. If this is about the future, why are you going to have the past or kind of the fading present, to be more kind, get the victory here? You know, I understand that Sol Ruca, most, again, the mainstream, that casual, never watch NXT, don't know who she is. Well, now they do. She's got a victory over Bayley. It's not going to hurt Bayley. There's nothing really here that could hurt Bayley in the way that she lost at all. It puts Sol Ruca on the map. That's what it does, and that's what it's meant to do. Do I like all 4 standing in the ring and suddenly putting all their differences aside to salute John Cena? No. Because I believe that the night should be, yes, it's about John Cena, but not everybody needs to break character all the time after they're done wrestling to just, salute John Cena. I'm sorry. You don't. Can we have a little bit of respect for the business? Of course not. All righty. So we had a video package air of Sheamus, Rob Van Dam. Oh, Rob Van Dam was there. That's right. Corey Graves, Stu, Michael Hayes, Michael Cole, and Cody Rhodes all expressing their gratitude. And footage aired of The Undertaker and Rock paying tribute to Cena. Rock's video was done. It was poolside and selfie style. Very true Rock in Rock fashion. Who I really believe if Rock was there, he would have got booed. People have not forgotten. So now let's see here. We have where are we? Javon Evans comes out because we had the tag team title match here. We had AJ Styles and Dragon Lee take on Javon Evans and TNA X Division champion Leon Slater. It's a non-title. Why did I think it was a title match? Non-title match. The match was even shorter than the other two. 6.5 minutes. 6.5 minutes. And that was really the biggest disappointment here because I thought this one could have gotten 15, 20 minutes, and it didn't. I should have known this was going to be eaten up mostly by John Cena, and deservingly so. So I got a little bit duped into that. But we got AJ Lee and AJ Styles. Damn it, I did it again. AJ Styles and Dragon Lee beating Javon Evans and Leon Slater. And after the match, Styles put Slater to his feet, and they all looked into the camera and saluted John Cena again. I hate this so much. This is the interim reminders of what we're watching is not real. These are the constant reminders, and I understand it's John Cena's night, but not everything, every match, all the time here needs to be about John Cena and everyone breaking character and going, oh yeah, we were just punching each other in the face and trying to kill each other, but damn it, we're gonna do this salute together in concert. Stop, please. My God. Yeah, this was and the analysis here from Pro Wrestling Net, credit to them, said, quote, really? It's a shame these 4 didn't get twice as much time. It was another match that was fun while it lasted. Evans seems ready for the main roster, so does Slater, but he's still under TNA contract. They picked up 3 of NXT's brightest prospects for the show. Trick Williams is another, but all signs point to the main roster starting again soon. Yeah, I would agree with that. All right, we also, Tom Brady, Jimmy Kimmel, Gabriel Iglesias, who I can't stand. We had Jelly Roll also all wish John Cena well. So, kind of obviously a crossover audience there. He's a star that transcends not just pro wrestling, obviously, and that's what I'm saying when you talk about big stars. Gunther is nowhere near the level of John Cena, and as big of a guy as he is, and he's on the path, but he's not in the universe of it yet. So, All right. The Miz, we had a little moment here with The Miz and R-Truth, and Miz, of course, is complaining that he was forgotten from the tournament, and R-Truth comes out and says, you did something appropriate with Nick Aldis's balls. And then Miz reads the person's name that was on the slip of paper, and it was Joe Hendry. So, yeah, that was cool. I mean, seeing Joe Hendry do what he does on the main roster, which is pop up out of nowhere and then leave for another year. Although he's getting closer to a final debut here. So Miz ends up getting his ass kicked as expected. And that's it. And they both do the 5-knuckle shuffle, which was a 10-knuckle shuffle, and everyone's just tributing to Cena all night. All right. And then, of course, we get the final match here. We get the final match, and the match went 23 minutes and 45 seconds. And, the fans were chanting BS. Cena kissed the mat. He stood up. He was taking bows all night. And then the final thing I think he said was, it's been a pleasure serving you all these years. So that's cool. And Cody Rhodes was tearful at ringside, couldn't get any words out. CM Punk and Cody Rhodes both put their championships on John Cena's shoulders so he could celebrate with it one more time. And that was that. So the analysis, if you're wondering from Pro Wrestling Net, again, free promotion for them. I mean, I have no relationship whatsoever. I use their descriptions fairly regularly, so I don't have to write this stuff down. So I am giving them credit. But they said, quote, the fans were obviously hoping for the feel-good ending of Cena beating Gunther. Instead, they got Gunther retiring another wrestler. Oh yeah, Goldberg, that's right. And with some other notable retirements approaching, this may not be the end of the career killer saga. AJ Styles is retiring next year. There are rumors of Brock Lesnar retiring next year. Gunther could also retire Chris Jericho if he returns to the company for one last run. And then there's also the career killer versus the legend killer. The post-match scene was nice. The lack of comments from Cena was disappointing. I'm guessing we'll have to wait for Raw or even the Hall of Fame ceremony, and that's fine as a viewer at home, but I feel for fans in attendance who paid big money to see Cena lose his final match and not address them afterward. All of that said, it's been a hell of a ride for Cena, and wishing him the best now that his in-ring career is over. Overall, I like that Gunther went over, even though the live crowd clearly disagreed. The heat went to Levesque rather than Gunther. It may stick with Levesque rather, but I'm sure Gunther can get his starting with a gloating promo on Raw, which is exactly the way they're going to do it. Yes. So, fair analysis here. Good points about the AJ Styles and Brock Lesnar rumored retirements for next year. Gunther could build his career out of this. AJ Styles, here's what I don't want, though. I've stated this very clearly. I don't need multi-month or year-long announcements ahead of time. Please. I can't do it. I can't do this again. As much as big of a star as John Cena is, it's just like this cloud that hangs over your head all year. And it's not fair to the current storylines going on. I understand that they were trying to milk as much as they could out of John Cena and make the most money they could. I understand that. But as a viewer, can we not make this like a thing? This better not catch on. I'm hoping this doesn't catch on. I don't care if your name's Brock Lesnar. I don't care if your name's AJ Styles or Randy Orton. I don't need to know a year in advance. Let us know, like, I would do like a month or a few months, like Rumble to Mania. Announcing it on February, saying, win, lose, or draw, it's been a ride. I'm hanging up the boots come April at WrestleMania. Like something like that, fine. When you're in the heart of WrestleMania season, but not ahead of time, not a year long. Please. It's exhausting mentally, but it's over for John. And maybe Gunther could build his career out of being the killer here. Of the only kind of fly in the ointment, and this is not a technicality, it's a very important distinction that we need to remind ourselves about. When Gunther claims, or if he does claim, or if the announcers claim, or anybody claims that Gunther is retiring all of these men and beating, like he is the reason that they are retiring, if they're making any kind of connotation in that respect, that Gunther retired so-and-so. No, he didn't. Goldberg was retiring win, lose, or draw. John Cena is retiring win, lose, or draw. So, no, he is just their final opponent. He can claim he beat them in their final match, but he didn't actually retire them. Like, him defeating that other man wasn't the catalyst for that man retiring. That man had decided ahead of time. That's an important distinction. And I'm not trying to take anything away from Gunther, but I also don't want the WWE to insult our intelligence or yours. So keep that in mind. If you hear that narrative, no. He beat John Cena in his retirement match. I know that doesn't sound as good. Doesn't sound like it has as much weight, but it also is the truth. So I'm a big fan of truth. I'm a big fan of reality. And I'm a big fan of also not insulting the fans' intelligence, so I hope that they don't try to claim otherwise and play with words. Because the other way sounds better, that Gunther retired these men. Yeah, but no, he didn't. And I love Gunther. And this was the right decision, but I just don't. I really hope they don't play with words like that. Okay, so I hope I've done enough complaining. I think I've fulfilled my quota. We obviously have a massive Monday Night Raw coming tomorrow. Gunther should be the first man out. We'll probably see a tribute video of John Cena. No, he's not going to be there, but we'll see a tribute video. Obviously, the first thing we'll see on Raw is a recap and the John Cena tribute and everything else. And then boom, Gunther's going to come out just to soak up more booze. And as Pro Wrestling Net said, hey, making sure we transfer the heat from the booker, Triple H, Paul Levesque, to the guy that's actually going to be in the ring competing here, to Gunther. And I think Gunther's more than capable of doing that. So, yeah. Alrighty. Well, that's my review and thoughts and reactions to Saturday night's main event. Good on the wrestling, shorter matches than usual, but it was a much different PLE than anything else we've seen. Obviously, with John Cena just taking up the entirety of the show. So much for, no, I wanted it to be about the future. It's like, yeah, but then every single match they tributed to you. So this focus still went back on you, even though the match was not having you, actually in it. So anyway, I'm being just cynical. That said, if you guys want to go ad-free, you can do that. Patreon.com/WWE Podcast, or go to Spotify or anywhere that podcasts are available. You can go ad-free just by searching for us. You can also follow us on TikTok at the WWE Podcast, or on X. You got it. Search the WWE Podcast. So there you go. I'll be back Tuesday with your Monday Night Raw review. And that'll do it. Thanks, everybody. We'll talk soon.
Thanks for listening to the WWE Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe on your favorite podcast app so you don't miss a show, or head to WWEpodcast.com. And for all of these shows ad-free, head over to patreon.com/WWE Podcast. Until then, we'll see you next time.